What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Zodiac Academy Book 2, Ruthless Fae. This takes place after Book 1. Darcy and Tori have decided to leave school, and yeah, that's where it starts off. Today we're going to be talking about what happens in this book. We're going to be talking about different characters that develop and different relationships and romances that develop. We're also going to talk about how it ends and where I think it's going to go. So in book 2, starts out obviously Darcy and Tori are very upset. They're over being here. Bad things have happened. They don't like it. Bad, no good, no bueno. They're getting out. So they make a plan to steal a lot of Darius's gold because he just has gold lying around because that's what dragon gold. Yeah. So then we have how are they going to get out of there because they're obviously they're in a different dimension as we so they're going to go steal some of the stardust from Orion because they know he has some. So they put this whole plot together. It's not great. Uh Not a great plan. Not a great plan. A lot of flaws, a lot of things to go bad, but they're like, "Hey, fuck it, we're going to do it." So they run off and they try to execute this plan. They get caught unsurprisingly. Orion kind of is like, "Hey, you guys can leave. If you really want, like, I will help you guys leave. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know why you guys made it into this big of a deal." Um, but he convinces them to stay. They choose to stay. And part of them staying is them having the determination. Corey and Darcy have the determination that, hey, screw these guys. These guys, screw them. We don't care about them anymore. We're going to ruin their lives as much as they've been ruining ours. And so that's what they do. They start coming up with plans to ruin each male heir individually. Caleb, they spread a bunch of rumors about wanting to have sex with like unicorns while they're in their transformed state. And that leads to a whole bunch of embarrassing things, and they go about it in hilarious manners. There's a lot of great things that happen there with just getting revenge on them, as well as they do this each year. I think they give fleas to Seth. Just a lot of things built up that they're going to do, that they're planning to do, that they're gonna get their payback because they deserve to get their payback because what happened to them isn't okay. It isn't a hey, we're gonna push you down and you have to fight your way up. What they did was over the top. It was too they had gone so far over the line, it wasn't okay. And I think that was seen even by Orion. Even Orion was like, hey, this what they did wasn't okay. This wasn't a Fae fighting one on one. That's not what happened here. And I think because Orion saw that, he really stepped out and tried to help them. Not help them, but not like hinder them. Like he stuck to the you're gonna get your fair shot of fighting for what is yours as a Fae. There's definitely a little chemistry that kept building up between Orion and Darcy, and it's who like Orion is a hot studly vampire professor who's super smart. How could you not? How could you not? You know? And it's just it keeps going. There's a little more chemistry between Caleb and Tori, and we love that. We dislike it, but we love it because Caleb he's in our neutral ground. Caleb is in our neutral ground as far as why he didn't stop them, he didn't help them, but we still don't like him. We don't like Caleb, but he's in that neutral ground as far as like because we hate Darius, we hate Max, we hate Seth. Like they're just not fuck them. They're why we don't need them. They're not needed. Fuck them. And then they do all this, and then they have to. Darius's dad tells him to invite them to the gathering. Like Darius's family's throwing like a party essentially, and they want to bring the heirs there. Probably they'll be like, "Oh, hey, heirs, like fuck you," type of thing. Like, "Hey, we're showing our power, we're flexing," type of thing. And they do that. They go and they go to the party, and you meet Xavier. We love Xavier. Xavier is literally fantastic. Xavier likes Tori. Tori likes Xavier. Xavier's fantastic. Like I don't think anybody, any reader, any person could meet Xavier in this book and just not absolutely love him. Like he's going through so much in this story that he has no control over. He's going through so much that he doesn't have control over, and he's trying his best. Their dad, as we learn, he's a super abusive, dick bad dad, and it kind of makes you start feeling for Darius because Darius took a lot of the blows for Xavier and himself. Like he took a lot, and so we kind of shifted Darius out of the hate zone and more into the neutral zone because you realize that his upbringing was especially horrible. And the way he treats Xavier just kind of hits you in the heart in just the right way. They have a meeting with the heir's parents, the current rulers, and they kind of tell him, "Hey, we're not going to take the throne." Blah yada yada yada. And that's like they've been saying this, but nobody until they come out to the press apparently and say, "Hey, we don't want the throne." They're not going to consider it them not wanting it for whatever reason. I think that's insane, but they go through that and the party commences. They leave their little private meeting that was happening during the party and the party commences. There's some drinking. You meet Geraldine's dad, who is a joyous man. We love Geraldine's dad. He is amazing. He's hilarious. He is her, but older and a man, and it's hilarious. Some more drinking happens. They're wanting some food. So Darius, I think all the heirs are in like some side room, right? They're like, "Oh, fuck this party where we don't like this. We're over this." They go to like side room and they invite Tori and Darcy in there, obviously. And then Darius's fiance shows up, and the descriptions for her are not nice. Like they because I mean, granted, his fiance is his cousin, and that is awful in every way possible. But she's also described as basically unattractive, kind of has a lot of masculine features, and is just kind of awful. Um, she kind of is harassing the other heirs. She's kind of harassing Tori, and Darius doesn't like that, right? Darius defends Tori kind of in a way. It's very weird whatever's happening there. Um, and then Darcy and Tori go to talk to or go to sit away from the heirs, away from the fiance, away from all of that. And a reporter comes to talk to them, but they don't know it's a reporter. They're like, "Oh, this is friendly guy." They felt very trusting towards him. He got past the defenses, and you find out that's because he is his transformation, his order form. That's one of their gifts, is getting past mental barriers and like really getting in there and causing trust. And he basically talks to them, finds out some secrets, or well, not even secrets. He just finds out what's been happening at the school. Orion sees what's happening and chases him away. And he tells him like, "Yeah, he's a really sly reporter. You don't want to talk to him. He's a bad guy." Uh, Tori and Caleb start playing a little game of hide and seek. And so while Caleb and Tori's game of hide and seek is happening, um, you have Darcy, who went off with Orion because Orion, like, let's be real. Why, who's not going to go have some alone time with Orion? And during this time, Orion and Darcy are in the pool. There's a little air bubble and they kiss and they talk about how this can't happen. And they kind of come up with a plan, but it feels very much so that this is going to continue to happen. This is going to happen a lot. This is going to continue to happen. There's these feelings, they're not going away. They are now, as far as I'm concerned, that is the start of the official ship, was right then and there. And then you have Darcy, or then you have Tori, who is followed by Caleb and found, but I think Tori technically won, so he wasn't supposed to bite her. I think that was the whole thing. But Tori, is kind of hot and heavy. Caleb is a sexy vampire man who's kind of hot and heavy. And so, they end up having a very, very very intense scene there, which is only compounded by the fact that, Tori's been playing he likes to have sex with unicorns in their order form. So it's very like she is doing this to him, but she's like, I'm gonna take the benefits I want, which good for her. She should do this because the heirs are awful people. Like they're not good people. They could have gone about what they did in such different ways, but they didn't. So like we don't care that she's screwing over Seth, or not Seth. We don't care that she's screwing over Caleb. That's fine. We don't care. Let her get everything she wants out of this. The only thing as I didn't like is I don't want her feeling feelings for Caleb. We don't want that. Because no matter how you look at it, Caleb is not a good guy at this point in time. Like he's not doing what's right for her. He's doing what's right for him. He's being very selfish in everything he's doing at this point in time. So I just don't want those feelings to happen. Kind of how that goes. And then they kind of progress with their pranks becoming more so all of that. Like the pranks only continue to develop. They figure they give Max an entirely terrible full body like skin rash. I don't know if it's full body, definitely the crotch, but because they put like some kind of griffin feces or something like that, harpy feces, something like that, onto his clothing for the pitball match. And then during the pitball match, all of their pranks have really come to fruition. You've got Caleb, who's incredibly just irritated and angry and distracted because of all the unicorn related things going on in the crowd, all the jokes being made. You have Seth, who's feeling very lonely and is very itchy because of the fleas. Like he's Seth really got it bad because, granted, deserved got it bad, but he got it bad because not only does he have the fleas, the werewolf fleas, which I only imagine is a terrible thing to go through, but also his pack isn't spending time with him, so he's incredibly lonely right now, and deservedly so. I don't care that this is happening to him. He has not been a good person at any point to this point in the story, so I don't really care. And then Darius is just kind of frustrated because of all the pressure put on him. The other heirs are kind of floundering right now, and he's got all this pressure on him to perform well because of his abusive, shitty father. Let's be real. So you have the heirs all participating in the match. All their parents have come to watch the match. And Darcy and Tori are invited into the main box with the parents of the heir and the principal and the coach and all that with Orion because they're princesses, I guess. So they're invited there to watch. I don't really know why that happened. But as the match goes on, they're struggling. Like all the boys are struggling to perform during the match because of all these different things due to the pranks. And the girls don't really feel bad. The girls think, hey, they deserve this, and they do. Geraldine is fucking owning this entire match of the game. Like she is destroying this pitball match. MVP by far. Granted, Darius is trying to cover for like the downsides and stuff that are happening during this match, and that's one guy can only do so much. He also had he had a bunch of gold stolen, he had the dagger stolen, and so he's freaking out about that as well. Like he's just not doing all that well. So this match is end. The parents had left. Like I believe the parents left the stadium, and it's kind of everything's winding down. They're giving out the trophies and medals and all that kind of stuff during the match. And then there's an attack by the nymphs. The nymphs are attacking, like a full scale attack during this pitball match on school grounds. The school is protected, as we know. There should be no way this is happening. All right, I completely forgot. Sorry, guys, I completely forgot that they had come out. Basically, they had told the heirs what happened. Like the heirs know now who was pulling all those pranks. It is now known who was pulling the pranks, and they shoved them down in like the pit area of they shoved them down in the pit area of the match, the field, and they're kind of looking up at them, and they put a little force field in there, and they're very angry. Obviously, they're very pissed off, and they're pushing him down to the hole, and they're like, "Hey, if you're gonna the girls proclaim that they're going to claim their birthright. That was the moment that they flipped the switch. They're like, this is our birthright. We're taking it. And the heirs are kind of like, hey, you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to fight for it with your lives on the line. And you're going to have to crawl your way out of like the gutter, the trench, because they pushed them down in the hole. They're trying to be clever because, they're heirs, they're cocky. But that's kind of where the book ends, is right there. Like there's an attack. Um, it just ends there. They really leave you on that cliffhanger of there's been an attack now and they're stuck down in a hole and bad things are happening and we don't know what's going to happen. That's book 2. That's book 2. I love it. I love the pranks going on. I love the friendship with Geraldine that sparks. I love you get to meet the heirs and their family, and you kind of realize that the only one with a shitty parent is Darius. Let's be real. And yeah, so that's where that leaves off, and I love it, and I can't wait to do the next book. And I hope all of you guys will let me know what you thought about book 2. Which prank was your favorite? Which part of the pranks was your favorite? Which relationship are you really voting for right now? Are you really wanting to see Tori and Caleb, or are you really wanting to see Darcy and not Darius? Whoops, Orion. So which one are you really rooting for? What relationships would you have liked to see happening in this? What plot points you think really stood out to you? I'd love to know. But I'll see you guys all next time for the next book review, which should be next week. I'll see you then.